Does steam really work? If so, how? Through a recent video, a huge ignorance has been spread on how steam works, and we are losing lives on account of it. This video is a revelation of the possible truth by a postgraduate in physics. It is the physics of steam after all, so bear with the physicist. It is important because it could save lives. It could possibly save your near and dear ones from great danger. If you are a doctor, please give it time and careful consideration. Research laboratories in the fields of physics, chemistry and health are requested to confirm, to critique, to enlighten on the claims that are made here. After all, if this be true, then we could possibly kill the pandemic by working in unison. Here is a test for you. Consider these two scenarios very carefully. There are enemy soldiers hidden in a forest. First, the Air Force carpet bombs the forest in order to get rid of them in one shot, covering the entire forest and getting rid of everything. Or, second, the alternative is a modern weapon. What does it do? It releases a swarm of bee-sized drones from an airborne platform. It's like a huge plane, and then these drones come out like a buzz of bees. Now each drone has a small explosive charge. It's a small bomb actually, or maybe something it can shoot. These drones, they fly down, they locate the soldiers in the forest, they see who is this, and then they go close to the soldiers and they self-destruct. They explode and the enemy soldier is killed. Here is a question. Which of the two scenarios is similar to the way steam acts on the targets in the nasal cavity? One, is it carpet bombing, or does steam do smart targeting? If you chose the option 1, carpet bombing, then you are the victim of the ignorance which prevails. The answer is option 2. Steam targets discontinuities, deposits self on those discontinuities and releases its charge, a huge quantity of heat on them. By a rough calculation, there is a small droplet of saliva carrying some virus. If steam gets deposited on it rapidly, so much steam that the droplet's weight goes up by 1/10 of its weight. Temperature of the droplet would shoot up very briefly to about 80 degrees centigrade, enough to maim a virus contained in the droplet. Here is the science behind it. The specific heat of water is 1 calorie. When 1 cc of water at any temperature, if you add a calorie of heat to that, then it gives you 1 cc of water at 1 degree higher. So if it is 30, this becomes 31. If this is 40, it becomes 41. So 1 calorie of heat does that. Then latent heat of vaporization of water is 540 calories. What does it mean? 1 gram of water at 100 degrees centigrade plus this latent heat of fusion, it will convert it into 1 gram of steam at 100 degrees centigrade. So you see the temperature is not changing. However, the water gets converted into steam, and this 540 calories of heat is called as a latent heat of fusion. It is the reverse action that we are interested in. What happens when 1 gram of steam settles down on something? See, 1 gram of steam at 100 degrees centigrade is equals to 1 gram of water at the same temperature plus 540 calories. This huge quantity, 540 calories per gram, is very important. You remember that if there is 1 calorie per gram, it can raise the temperature by 1 degree centigrade. Now there is 540 calories here. Now next question, why does water rapidly settle in this case? When water is boiled, the air into which the steam enters, that is what the air that is there on top of the vessel, usually ends up holding more water vapor than it can hold at that temperature. You have heard about moisture in the atmosphere. So moisture is 80%. 80% means At that temperature, it can hold X amount of water, but it is now only 80% of that X is there. So it is 80% moisture. If it is 100% moisture, it can hold X amount of moisture at the temperature, and all that X is present in it. But if there is some excess at that temperature, it can hold X, and the available moisture is more than that, then it is called as supersaturation. And supersaturation conditions do exist in nature also. If there is a supersaturation, then this condition tends to be unstable. The air is most willing to give off this excess water vapor. The result, water deposition happens very quickly. So this is key. First, steam tends to settle down on discontinuities that are at a lower temperature. Second, it settles down very quickly. And third, great amount of heat is liberated when it does so. When a given quantity of heat is given to a large object, then there is a very little rise in temperature. But when the same quantity of heat, when it is given to a small object, it results in a significant rise in temperature. So there is a droplet which is 500 nanograms, a virus carrying droplet. It's around this size, a little lesser, maybe more, but it's around that size. So a droplet is 500 nanograms, and you have added steam to it, and steam rapidly deposits on it, and totally 50 nanograms of steam has deposited on it. And so what has happened? The droplet has increased in size to 550 nanograms. You remember that this size is arbitrarily chosen. We can, maybe when you actually see nature, if the supersaturation is very high, it may go up to 600 nanograms, maybe 800 nanograms. Or if supersaturation is not as much, then maybe it may go to 525 nanograms or 510 nanograms. It doesn't matter. We are making calculations assuming that it goes to 550 nanograms or 1/10 the weight is increased. So what happens? So 500 nanograms becomes 550 nanograms, and 50 nanograms of steam which deposits itself on the droplet, it gives out its latent heat of vaporization. So you have 27 microcalories by a rough calculation. Now watch this, 550 nanograms and 27 microcalories. If you have 550 nanocalories, if that is the quantity available, then the temperature would have raised by 1 degree centigrade. So you can see that this small mass can actually be really heated up using this 27 microcalories. So that's what you have here, 550 nanograms and 27 microcalories. So if the droplet 500 nanograms was at 30 degrees, the final droplet 550 nanograms would be around 80 degrees centigrade. Now this is under two conditions. The condition is that the steam settles rapidly, and therefore all the latent heat that is released is given to the droplet. These calculations are ballpark, but they do indicate what can happen to an isolated droplet containing the virus. Maybe 1/10 of the weight of the droplet does not get deposited, as we had seen. Maybe it gets deposited at a slow rate, so there is leakage of it. So steam is depositing slowly, and as it is depositing, the heat is also leaking off, and therefore it is not immediately raising the temperature, it raises it only a little. Either of this condition will not allow for the temperature of the droplet to rise to 80 degrees centigrade. But surely there will be a rise in temperature of the virus, and researchers must find out the exact amount. The virus is entering through the mouth and the nose. That is the gate. Steam can be a sentry at that gate. Useful? Yes, it does maim the virus. Is it cheap? Yes, you just have to take water and boil it. And is it easily available? Yes, it's not like the medicines that are very difficult to get now. A community decides that, yeah, we are all going to steam. That community will benefit. Those with lab resources to investigate this, please find the truth quickly. Meanwhile, doctors, please reflect on the small lesson in physics of steam and reconsider your advices on steaming. Thank you.